We were just talking, and then we went up to my room.
Okay. So you were still letting a guy perform oral sex on you, even though you claim to be in love with this guy?
I did it on him.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's different. I thought it was something else. I thought he performed it on you. Okay. Well, if it wasn't in the lobby and he didn't perform it on you. Hey, have you been listening to this, Drew? Yeah.
Has my mic been on?
It's been on for a couple seconds. Don't squander the opportunity, Drew. Have you been hearing this?
Yes.
All right. This is ridiculous, is it not?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to this young lady. My mic's been off.
All right, but would you listen to me? She's performing oral sex on some stranger in a hotel 2 months ago.
Adam, the question is, why is she in such a hurry to have sex? She doesn't seem to really care who it is, but it's probably better with a guy that she, quote, loves.
She
What's
says
the hurry,
she's in
Michelle?
love with him.
What's the hurry? What's the hurry?
I don't know.
What's going on at home?
What do you mean, like, have I been molested?
All right.
What are you looking? What are you trying to run away from? That too. If that's what happened? What is the hurry? You're 14.
15.
15. Excuse me. What's the hurry?
I don't know.
Did your parents break up? Were you molested? Is something going on at home that you don't?
Molested when I was really little.
You were molested.
Yeah, by a friend of the family.
All right, Adam.
Yeah, it's quite a
see what I'm trying to get at? I've been talking to a dead mic for 5 minutes trying to get that out.
Oh, shut up, Drew. I'll shut it off again, so help me God. I'll take the red eye out there and kick you in the nuts.
And I didn't really know my dad. He left.
All right, Michelle, this is no way to feel better about yourself, okay? That having sex now is only going to add to your confusion and your sense of fragmentation. You need to focus on who you are, what you want to do, what makes you happy. And for instance, the choice to have sex with this guy that you so-called love is going to be very painful. You're going to be connected with this guy in ways that you can't see through. He's going to be on this side of the country. It's going to be very painful and very uncomfortable. And you're already starting to act out with other guys who are strangers in an attempt to try to get some validation through sexuality, and that's not what it should be used for. It should be used to increase the level of intimacy between somebody you can have a relationship with, who you're in proximity to, so you can see it through.
All right.
All right? All right.
All right. You good? You done?
I'm done.
Jennifer. Jennifer.
Hello?
You 21?
Yes.
What's going on?
I have a serious problem. I've been with my boyfriend for about 4 years, and found out last summer, myself and his whole family found out that he was molested by his dad's girlfriend. And his dad found this out, and a month ago, he married this woman.
What exactly went on? It's very unusual for a woman to molest a boy. What happened?
I don't exactly know. I've never really asked. I know that his father and her have had, in the past, a serious drug problem and alcohol problem. And every time all the kids are over there, they drink. And I never really asked because it was so hard for me to deal with. I never really wanted to know exactly.
How old was he?
It started when he was 14.
No.
And there was an older brother also, and we kind of think it happened to the older brother when he moved out.
It really sounds less like molestation than just bizarre, circumstances in the family where people are loaded on drugs and a 14-year-old is able to act out in this chaos.
That's what I was thinking since he was kind of older. It's been bothering me that maybe that...
Look, we can't do anything about him right now. I mean, this is a very involved, very serious situation.
How long did this go on for?
It started when he was 14, and we found out because they had been drinking and he passed out. This was last year, and he's 20, and she tried something on him while he was passed out.
All right, so this is seriously... may I use the term effed up, Adam? Is that okay?
Let me check with the standards and practices.
Okay.
Yes, I think
even I would like to use that term tonight. This is a mess, and we can't deal with that. What we have to deal with is you, Jennifer,
well,
and why you would choose to involve yourself with somebody that comes from this kind of chaos.
No, okay. Well, we've been together for 4 years. This just came out last year.
Yeah, but it's the same person.
I know. But my biggest...
You say you already know that he drinks until he passes out, right? So he has an alcohol issue.
No, it's not that. It's, college kids drink. I've done it myself.
Yeah, but he comes from a history of addiction. The biological background is alcoholism. And so already there's a 50% probability that he is going to become an alcoholic. If he now has momentum with alcohol, that's the beginning of the disease.
Hey, Jennifer?
Yeah?
Drew's got you on this one.
Yeah.
Something's up with him. And something's up with his stepmom or his dad's girlfriend or whatever the hell she was back then. But he was 14. She was loaded. He could have fended her off, I'm guessing, unless she's a large woman.
Well, I think what happened is she has drugged people in the past. And
wait, let's stay off those guys. Let's stay with Jennifer. Why are you with a guy like this? Do you have an alcoholic dad?
No, I don't. And
Mom?
No, nothing in my family at all. And none of this was present, when I first met him. But
Jennifer, the information wasn't present, but this is the same individual that came out of this environment, and we got to stay focused on you. Why are you with somebody that comes from this kind of chaos?
I love him, and I'm in love with him, and...
Well, that's good, but that doesn't answer any question for it.
Well, my biggest problem here is he, besides all this that's happened, and the whole family's trying to deal with this, he still has a relationship with his father. When this first happened, he didn't talk to his dad at all, and it's been about a year, and he's got a relationship with his father. And I have not seen his father or his new stepmother.
Stay away from him.
Pardon me?
Stay away from them.
Oh, yeah, I will not. If I see him, I'll kill her. But my biggest problem is trying to deal with the fact that he still has a relationship with his dad, and I'm afraid that being around someone with no morals like that is going to affect him later.
Well, it's already
done it. Believe me.
And
wait a minute. Jennifer, you believe that this woman drugged him and had sex with him for, maybe a couple of years?
He
said it happened like 4 times, so I don't...
And he was drugged every time? Don't think about that. Don't forget that.
Yeah, well...
Jennifer, quick question. Let's stay with you. We got to stay with you. You're incapable of looking at your own role in all this. How is your relationship with your parents?
It's perfect. My parents have been divorced since I was 3, but I have great relationships with both parents.
Oh, that is perfect. And are they real involved in your life?
Yeah. My dad,
Very involved?
My father's my best friend, knows everything about my life.
Okay. Best friend, by the way, is not the role of parent.
Oh, I know. No.
It'd be nice if parents could be your best friend, but that's not their job. Their job is to be the parent.
Drew, you're all jacked up tonight. What's up with you?
Huh?
It's 1 a.m. here.
Okay, well, simmer down, would you?
I'm in a weird studio, and I have no sense of time. but let me finish with Jennifer. The point is, Jennifer, let me ask the one question. Did you ever have an eating disorder?
No.
Okay. Are your parents real involved in your life, or the point that they're sort of intrusive in other areas of your life, or you don't do anything about their involvement? Okay.
No, it's just that I know that I can go to them with anything.
All right.
And they've always made that clear.
All right. Drew has not been able to crack the code. We know there's something up with this boyfriend of yours. This you portraying him as a victim is there's a lot of gray area there. He has had sexual relations with this woman way more than once. God knows how many times. He told you 4. He was a teenager when it began, and Dad's an alcoholic. He married this woman who's an alcoholic. There's going to be chaos down the line. That's all I'm saying. Be prepared. This is the tip of the iceberg. You with me, Drew?
Go to Al-Anon. I think you might learn something about yourself. All right?
All right. It's all right.
You
sound good, Drew.
I got a terrible sense of time here.
All right.
Time warp.
What time is it there?
1:20.
Great. What time did you get up this morning?
8.
Great.
9. Yeah, isn't that nice?
All right, let's just see if we can tease something a little bit here. Dave, you're 30?
Yeah, I am.
Was addicted to painkillers and pot, now experiencing anxiety attacks.
Yeah, Dr. Drew, Adam, how you guys doing? Listen, majority of last year I was abusing Super Vicodin, and...
They have Super Vicodin?
Yeah, the heavy-duty stuff.
Vicodin ES, it's called.
It's a Lorcet, right?
Well, Lorcet's different. Yeah, that's a more potent hydrocodone, yeah.
That's what I was taking.
Yeah.
And this crooked doctor was giving it to me for whatever reason. He didn't even ask. And I did it for most of last year, a good couple hundred of them, along with marijuana for the last few years. And I've been clean this whole year, and now I'm just kind of feeling kind of lightheaded and very, very subtle head rush I've had for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Hold on, Dave.
All right. Drew, you're going to answer that?
Yes.
We'll do it when we come back?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have the guys from In God's Hands in here. And Drew?
Yeah?
I should rethink your commitment to the show.
What are you talking about?
Okay, just think about it. Yes, you is. Phone number for Loveline, 1-800-LVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. Dr. Drew is in New York. He has himself a microphone and a TV screen and an attitude.
How about that Jerry Springer thing, though, Adam?
What?
You hear about that?
Where they're faking everything?
Right.
All right.
Surprise.
Yeah. Right.
By the way, I hear a lot of breathing in there. What's going on?
Well, that could be me, actually.
That may be Matt George.
Matt's really nervous.
And Matty Liu, who is Matty is the 5-time Hawaiian surfing champion, and Matt George is a professional surfer and a writer. And how many Emmys do you have?
2.
2.
Yeah.
That's 2
You
more.
want to talk about Mount Kilimanjaro? That's a lot the fun, actually.
Yeah, all right. So
let's talk about our movie first.
Let's talk about the movie, In God's Hands. It's we're talking about it before. It's not or off the air. It's not a documentary. It's a movie like any other movie. And what would you call the wave in this movie?
Well,
in movie terms,
I would call it basically the Moby Dick of surfing.
That's interesting.
Instead of the great white whale, we went after the great white wave.
Right.
And it's a story of 3 friends that travel the world. That travel the world sort of discovering their own souls and where they fit in the world as they move towards their destiny, where they have to ride a wave that is too big to catch by hand. They actually have to be towed into it at about 30 knots on a jet ski.
From behind it.
Yeah, these are waves that are upwards of 40 and 50 feet.
And where did you film these actual waves?
We filmed it in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. On the North Shore somewhere?
A lot of it on the North Shore, a lot of it on Maui also.
Uh-huh.
Well, the really big waves are at a place called Jaws on Maui, made famous by sailboarders. It's the Hawaiian name is Piahi, and it's famous for facing the brunt of the Aleutian storms, and it's the largest rideable surf on Earth. And we happened to capture a couple days that were absolutely historic. And
how big were the sets?
Upwards of 40 feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
And it is, and the thing is when you see a movie, you could show a wave that was 22 feet and say it was a 40-footer.
Yes.
Well,
and you wouldn't know it if you
listen.
filmed it correctly, right?
Aren't waves still measured from behind, so to speak, or the faces are bigger than the actual wave?
Surfers ride the front of waves, Doctor.
But the face is always larger than what's measured, is it not?
Yeah, most times.
I always heard they were measured from behind, too.
Right.
Well,
it's an ego thing. I mean,
it's
Matt,
an
you can
ego
explain that.
Yeah, it's an ego
But if you're
thing.
saying 40-foot wave, you're saying a 40-foot face, not an 80-foot face.
Well,
Right.
Well, like the waves that we have in our movie, I mean, if you measured it with a tape ruler, it'd probably be like 300 feet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these things are beyond human comprehension.
But,
even that 40-foot, measurement is very inaccurate. It's very surfer gunslinger downplayed. Wait till you see them; they're really quite
It's a very,
extraordinary.
very large wave.
Well, let me say this. 40 feet, and just to straighten this out, 40 feet is a 4-story building.
That's
so
right.
If you stood at the base of a 4-story building and you look straight up the side of it, that's a 40-foot wave.
Yes,
you actually
sir.
have to be lying on the cement because that's where your head is when you're looking up.
That's a good point, Drew. I'm not going to shut your mic
That's
off
a real good
because of
point.
that. Lie down on a beach towel and look straight up at a 4-story building, and that is a
Telephone
40-foot
pole.
wave.
Well, we're really proud of the film as well because we took a big risk using all real surfers to act, and we all did our own stunt work too. So there's no special effects, and everybody does their own gig, and it would be like watching Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise, and then watching Tom Cruise hop in the car and go 250 miles an hour.
Right.
Hey, Adam?
Yes.
Adam, do these guys have those great bios like the other surfers we've had?
No, this isn't. These are good bios, actually. Actually, Matt is the guy I was speaking of who has the Emmys and who went to Mount Kilimanjaro with the Special Olympic athletes. And how the hell did that work?
Well, it's pretty simple. It was a project called Let Me Be Brave, which is the motto of the Special Olympics. I had climbed Mount Kilimanjaro the year before on a semi-historic climb that reopened some of the lesser-used environmental routes. So I had some attention, and they asked me to help guide them in this documentary that we made in 1989. And we thought that to show the world the courage of mentally disabled people, we thought that this would just be a great way to show the power of will. And we actually got 6 of the athletes to the roof of Africa. We're very proud of that.
Geez, I got to tell you, I kid a lot on this show, but anytime I see one of those Special Olympic commercials where they're playing Did you ever know you were my hero? And these kids are like hugging and doing the balance beam and then running to the coach. I just break down and start bawling like a baby. I don't know what it is about that. I think the Carollas I come from a long line of people who don't make much money working with people who have social handicaps. Maybe it's that gene in me, but man, I just break open and start bawling. Even just seeing a 30-second spot, I couldn't even watch it in person. I would just sit there bawling the entire time.
All right, guy.
I actually have an answer.
Down.
Doctor, I think I have an answer for that, actually. You might be able to correct me on this, but I think that it's the incredible luck that we feel and the blessing that we feel not to be mentally disabled and to see that
you and I probably feel that, but Adam sort of identifies rather strongly.
No, yeah, for me it's like
that.
why couldn't I have gotten that competition? All right, let's take some calls. And Drew, you got a call you like?
We had already spoken to Dave on line 3, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Dave's 30. Dave's addicted to painkillers. Super Vicodin.
Yeah, now, let me get this straight. You were doing 100 Lortabs a week?
I was doing quite a few. I was doing about 50 a week for most of last year.
And you're a long-term marijuana user, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I've been clean this whole year cold turkey.
Have you been going to program?
No, I've been doing pretty good on my own. I haven't been exercising that much or anything, but...
All right, well, are you drinking?
No, I've been totally clean. It's just that I've been doing pretty good. This last few weeks, I've been feeling this kind of lightheaded, weird feeling. And
Dave, there's a couple of things here. One is that the long-term effects of marijuana does tend to cause depression. And with that depression, it's not uncommon for there to be anxiety attacks. I actually just lost a patient about 2 weeks ago who tried to, quote, do it on his own. He finally recognized he was a marijuana addict after going to 100 doctors with 1 million physical complaints, was convinced that the marijuana was the issue, stopped, and actually started going to programs, but sort of rejecting treatment, became acutely depressed, didn't tell anybody, and killed himself.
No,
and
I don't feel
but
depression.
listen, I understand that, but I'm just that's the extreme case. The fact, though, is that there are biological reasons why you can feel lousy after you stop using, and there are also psychological reasons. I mean, there are things that motivated you to use these drugs, and those things haven't changed. In fact, they're worse now because the biology of your brain has been altered in such a way that it makes it more difficult to deal with things, which is why when people stop using drugs and don't get some form of treatment, they get symptoms. They get depressed. They get panic attacks. You have to replace that drug with something, or in order to change your internal world in such a way as to cope with those things that you were using the drug for in the first place and the consequences of the drug use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
All right,
so
Drew.
Go to AA.
Yes, go to AA.
Well,
NA, really. NA would be
Go to NA. Drew, you're good. You know, I rarely get a chance to sit and listen to you. I'm usually sort of watching your mouth flap, but it sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, but you know, when I got the headphones on and you're coming out of New York, I'm listening just like just like a listener would.
Just like you used to.
I can't understand an effing word, but it's really good.
No, I think I'm lulling you. It's like you're driving down the 405 in the old days.
Yes, and I'm going to head into the guard railing in a minute because I'm falling asleep. Jessica.
Listen to me.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Was that a compliment or
a
criticism?
I just relax over there. Jessica, you're 21.
Yeah.
You're on with Matt and Maddie, the Surfer Guys.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Jessica.
Well, my problem is I've been with a guy for about 4 years, and we've been together for about 3. Last year he proposed, and we've been moving around, and we've been living together since he proposed. And now he's bringing things in like he wants to have threesomes, and he wants to have stuff like that, and I'm not into
Sounds like where I
that.
come from.
Yeah, is that, how old are you, Maddie?
26.
26? Ever had a threesome? Oh, yeah. You surf, you travel the world, of course you had a threesome.
He said threesome, yes.
Now, we've done it with 2 guys and a girl,
Oh boy.
but he wants it the other way.
Jessica,
And he told me-
let me get a different question asked here. You said you're moving around together?
You know, we moved to Arizona. I'm from California. We moved to Arizona, and I have a daughter, and she got really sick, and my grandmother died the same weekend. And I lost my job because they weren't very understanding. So I lost my job, and he was only working. And we couldn't afford it. So we moved back to California. And now in January, we moved into our own place again, and we just moved again.
Where's the dad from the previous relationship?
My daughter's father?
The daughter, yeah.
He just, I had her, and he got into another relationship, and he's not in the picture.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Jessica,
so you're not
please.
you don't have the world's greatest compass, right, Jessica?
Well, I've been with the guy I'm with now for quite a while. Yeah. He didn't want to be with me, and then I fought for him, and I got him now.
Well,
repeat yourself.
You and one of his buddies he works with have
No, a friend of his. Yeah,
a friend of his. Oh, okay.
You fought for this a-hole.
Huh?
This is like fighting for the right to get cancer.
Well, that stuff didn't come up until recently, so...
No, but it's the same guy. This is the guy you fought for.
All right,
that
hold on.
Change
Let me yell at all our listeners for a second. This whole thing of it was like, oh, you didn't know the Hitler I knew. No, not back when I knew him. No,
Right.
That's a different man, I'm telling you. The 6 months before Mein Kampf came out, he was a totally different guy. Very energetic, loving, was a meat eater.
Oh, no, he wasn't. And he's not like that. I mean,
if they have syphilis or a brain tumor, we will excuse them. Otherwise,
Right.
there's no excuse.
Does he have syphilis or a brain tumor?
not that I know of.
No.
But I have a question for Dr. Drew as well.
Yeah.
I was on the birth control shot from the time my daughter was a couple months old, and I just got off of it in December.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about having a kid, and I haven't gotten a period or anything. Is that
You want to have a
could get-
kid with this guy?
Well, yeah. He's great with my daughter. Terrific.
Oh, boy. By the way, the abusers, the guys that really become the child abusers are oftentimes the perfect fathers. They idealize the little girl, give her all the stuff they want.
Oh, no, he doesn't give her anything.
14.
He's real...
She turns
He's
14.
real strict with her.
But wait a minute. Didn't you guys just didn't you just get kicked out of Arizona because you didn't have enough money?
Out of Arizona.
All right, but you just left Arizona because you didn't have enough money to support yourselves, right?
Because we had
why-
enough, but it was...
Why do you need another kid now? You're 21. You need another kid. You're not married to this guy. He
We're
wants...
getting married in July, but the...
So
All
what?
right, do you need another
problem is
kid?
bothering me.
Hey, Jessica. So help me God, I'm going to be talking to you in 3 years. You're going to now have 2 kids, and we're going to be talking about another guy. You know what I'm saying?
You're not going to be talking about another. I love him with all
Then-
my heart.
All right, then don't have a kid for 3 years and call us back.
But I want
And
to
then,
know...
then we'll give you a release, a written release.
The problem is I want to know when I'm going to get a period or something. I haven't gotten nothing.
Within 6 months, you'll get a period, and you could get pregnant even without the period.
Okay, so I shouldn't worry about anything because I got pregnant with my daughter. I was a virgin and got pregnant right away.
Beautiful. Well, you will get pregnant again.
Hey, Jessica.
So I don't have to worry about anything.
Jessica, why don't you wait till you're done with the threesomes so you know whose kid it is?
If it goes more than 6 months, see a doctor. They can sort of kickstart things. But the vast majority of people are beginning to cycle by 6 months. Okay? Wait till the end of June.
All
End
right.
of June.
I want to see a pay stub before you have another kid.
He had 2 jobs. He's working.
I know. I love it when people brag that way. He has 4.5 jobs. He's working his ass off. Oh, please.
I got a question for you guys.
Yes.
I thought she raised an issue that a lot of people face in a relationship, and that is when someone wants to bring experimentation into the relationship. I think that's a valid point.
We are all for that, Matt. Our feeling is, though, and just because, people say to me all the time, oh, what the hell qualifies you to talk to people? But it's like asking what the hell qualifies you guys to ride a wave. You've done it for a long time. You do it. You've traveled. You've seen it. You didn't have to go to school. You didn't have to read a book. You just had to see a lot of waves. And we've talked to a lot of people, and basically it tends to break up relationships more often than not. So we always tell people, hey, if you're in college and you're in a couple of chicks from the dorm room down the hall, they want to get it on, God bless you, go at it. But when there's kids, when there's marriages, when it's your fiancé and you have a 3-year-old, you're flirting with disaster.
It's a disaster.
Well, I agree with you because I don't think you should break the physical bond with your lover. But what I'm thinking is when it comes to experimentation, if somebody's starting to think about threesomes and things like that, perhaps there's other suggestions that don't involve a third party that could bring that excitement back into the relationship.
But it usually is not that they want the excitement. It's usually that they're screwed up and they're trying to sabotage the relationship.
They can't stand the intimacy.
And it ends up happening. If someone gets too close, they start getting fidgety. They think, all right, I'm horny, but really what they're thinking is I'm miserable. I got to mess this thing up. And it always serves to do that. And that's why we tell them when you got kids and all that, you can't do it. Just like if you have 5 kids you shouldn't be riding a motorcycle with no helmet. It's the same sort of thing.
Right.
You have a
That's
responsibility now. You can't go screwing around. Hey, you're single?
That's right.
Get loaded, get on the motorcycle, hope it starts raining. All right. We're going to go to break. Drew, you all right over there?
Yeah, I'm going to the bathroom.
You really made a nice comeback that break, buddy.
Thank you.
All right.
Keep coaching me, pal.
All right, buddy. We'll be back.
Loveline.
There, Mike. Something? No. Seemed to take a while. Yeah? Okay. Phone number for Loveline, 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. Bad Religion is going to be in here day after tomorrow. I like those guys, so that ought to be a good time. Matt George and Matty Liu. Sorry.
Liu.
Matty Liu is in here tonight from In God's Hands. They're, well, now, Matt, were you a professional surfer?
Oh, yes, for many years. Then I was a senior editor at Surfer and Surfing magazine. And so the challenge of actually making the first authentic surf movie was something that was a real pleasure to attempt. Myself and Zalman King sat down and decided that after all the beach blanket bingos and just the general lack of authenticity that has been evident in surf movies, we decided to really make this one as authentic as possible. That's why we used all real surfers, real locations, no special effects, and no stunt work.
What was like Big Wednesday? Was that one of the last surf theatrical surf movies that came out?
A friend of mine made that, John Milius, and that sort of covered like sort of the pre and post Vietnam surfing at Malibu. That is a pretty interesting movie when you look at it.
Yeah, except for the waves never got that big in Malibu, did they? I think they like filmed that in Hawaii somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's an industry secret, actually.
That's why they call it Hollywood. But I don't want to offend either one of you guys, but I'm never giving my kid a surfboard.
You can offend us. Go ahead.
All right, I'm never giving my kid a surfboard because I have friends that got into this surfing, and I have friends that got into mountain biking and friends that got into baseball and into hockey, but the ones that got into surfing could never hold a job down. Because the guys who got into baseball were content to go play softball on the weekends eventually at some point, or the guys who got into football were content to go watch it, but the guys who got into surfing just turned into hobos.
Wow.
I mean, they could work, but they could only work by the beach. They could work at a surf shop, but none of these guys could hold a job down. They're all still living at home, and they will drop whatever it is they're doing to go surf, which is kind of a problem if you're living in a sort of structured 9-to-5 environment.
Well,
now, if you can make a living off doing it, more power to you. That's great. But not many people can do that. So therefore, you have a lot of guys doing a lot of surfing aren't getting paid to surf, and meanwhile, they're calling in sick for the third day in a row because a swell is blown in at Zuma.
I can see where you come from with that, but most of the people that I know that surf are really successful with their work, and
really?
Yeah, I mean, they're all very well off. Every single one of my friends that I grew up with since we're kids, I mean, they own their own companies, and they're very successful and
very motivated,
very well traveled, and
see, Adam,
moms love them.
You have to be careful for is surfing plus genetics for addiction, because that equals marijuana.
Yeah, none of them come from North Hollywood, do they?
Yeah, my friend Oleg's is from North Hollywood.
Really?
Yeah, and he's a very successful. He has a great job, and he surfs on the weekends, and he surfs before work, and he surfs after work, and he brings home the money. Rent's paid, and drives a nice car.
Hey, Dr. Drew, I got a question for you. You're an addiction specialist, is that right? Addiction that isn't drug-related or related to inebriation or hypoxia or whatever the terms you want to use. What about an addiction like surfing where you literally release all these adrenalines and endorphins into your body? Can you become addicted to that?
If you're not biologically prone to addiction generally, no, you can't. You can develop a compulsion around it.
Is it like a sex addiction or something?
Well,
it's worse.
It would be the same. If
I'm telling you, I know guys that just go nuts for this.
If you were biologically prone to addiction, but it tends not to progress. I mean, the progression of addiction is a result of the biological predisposition with an extra physiological stimulation, like a pharmacological agent. So generally, no. I mean, you can develop a compulsion, and the compulsion can be around trying to avoid other unpleasant aspects of your life. You know, it just feels better to go surfing, so you're compulsed to do it. And it does release endorphins, and it does feel good. But it doesn't cause addiction, to my estimation.
But it is more than, I mean, it is more of a lifestyle than it is a sport, more than any other sport I can think of.
I don't consider it a sport at all.
I'll be honest.
I think it's a great...
I was a beach person as a young adolescent and a young adult, and my whole life now is organized around trying to get back to that. I mean, it's really, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, it's a great lifestyle. I mean, I can see where you're coming from by that. I mean, if you got tubed... You know, like
it would change everything.
Yeah,
Personally, I don't consider surfing a sport, but we can get back to that. But I want to get back to you not allowing your child to surf. I'm not quite so sure I would advise that for one reason. There's so many places left in the world where a young person can have a tactile relationship with nature, a hands-on immersion into something greater and bigger than themselves.
Attacked by a shark.
Well, yeah, that's part of it.
Yes.
But, I mean, a true adventure and nature experience, a hands-on thing where you're able to immerse yourself in this elemental magma.
Now,
I mean, it's something very important. And I don't know if you'd want to deny a child that
I would, because my kid would go down to Malibu, get his ass kicked by some locals, and that'd be about it.
Then he'd grow up to be a really great guy.
He'd never even make it to the water. Amy.
Yes?
You're 15.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I have a boyfriend, and he's in jail.
Hey, hold on a second. Is all that locals-only stuff going on still?
Oh, no, never.
Yeah.
Does he surf?
No.
No. They don't have any...
He should.
They don't have any parole program for folks who like to surf?
There's no rehabilitation surfing programs or anything?
I have no idea.
He's 20, he's in jail, yeah. What's he in jail for? This is going to be good.
Traffic warrant.
Traffic warrant?
He was driving with no tags, and he got his license suspended. And he had to drive to work anyway, so he drove to work one day, and then he got arrested.
How long has he been in jail for?
What?
How long has he been in jail for?
He's been in jail for almost a month now.
That sounds like something a little more serious than traffic. He may not be truthful with you. You're 15 years old?
What?
You're 15?
Yeah.
He may be protecting you from something.
Well, I know he used to live in Florida. And he broke out of...
Well, that explains that.
Guilty.
He broke out of a maximum security juvenile.
Oh, Amy. Amy.
Well, he's really sweet.
Wake up.
Oh, maximum security. Breakout.
Well, he was 14.
Hold on a second.
I'm kind of proud of him, actually.
I want to thank Amy for not giving us the #1 answer when people call about their incarcerated boyfriend and girlfriends. No. When we say, what are they in jail for? Drew, what is the #1 answer?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, parole.
Parole violation.
Right,
That's the one we always get. And then we go, what did he do to get put on parole? I killed 8 guys.
Well, he was on probation, and the warrant was considered a probation.
That's right.
There we go.
Now we're getting
He
somewhere.
was on probation for grand theft auto.
That's what we're talking about.
Must have slipped her mind.
I knew it.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, but it's
So she likes rebels. Nothing wrong with that.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
How's he not rehabilitated?
He's in jail.
Well, he wanted to get caught because he didn't want to stay anymore. He didn't want to live like that anymore. And, I mean...
Wow.
Where'd you meet him? Wait a minute. He was 14 and you were 11 or
No.
10? No, wait. You were 9.
No.
When did you meet him? How long ago?
About a year and a half.
So you were 13.
Yeah.
And he was?
He was...
17.
Yeah.
18?
No, he's 5 years older than I am.
Okay.
Your parents hit you, didn't they, Amy?
Yes.
Your parents hit you growing up?
What?
Your parents used to hit you growing up?
No, my brother did.
Okay.
All right. Well, your parents hit your brother, and then your brother hit you, right?
No, nobody hit my brother. My brother's just really hostile.
Probably really bad, huh?
Yeah. Well, he didn't... It's not like he beat me to the point where I was, like, bleeding or anything. It's just... He'd get really
stop
mad
short of that.
and come in and just, like, keep on hitting me, so I hit him back.
All right. And where were your parents while he was beating the crap out of you?
Well, my mom and dad got divorced when I was, like, 4.
Yeah. Who's in jail? Anyone in jail over there?
Just my boyfriend.
Dad's not in jail?
No, Dad was in jail when I was, like, 2.
Okay, but he's out now?
Yeah, and my mom and dad got divorced when I was, like, 4 going on 5.
What was your dad in jail for?
I don't know.
Parole violation. Parole violation. That's what your mom. Amy, put your mom on the phone. What was your husband in jail for? Parole violation. Okay, get the phone back to Amy.
Yeah.
All right, Amy. So, what did we know? I knew somebody was a jailbird in your past, and Drew knew you were struck by somebody. Figured it was your parents, but it turns out to be your brother. All right, you're 15. This guy's 20. To any sane person listening, it sounds like a ridiculous notion that you even entertain the thought of carrying on a relationship. Yeah, this guy, you'd like supervision. You'd like a guy standing by the door looking through the window.
Yeah.
Some guy named Rusty, some husky guy with mace on his belt, so that if you just screamed, he'd come storming in and shackle the guy.
No.
How long's he away for? How long?
August 13th.
That's not that long.
Yeah.
I'd wait for him if I were you.
Oh,
Nothing like true love.
Nice, Matty. Well, first off, just the guy being 20 and her being 15 is enough for us to tell her to get out of the relationship. I don't mind a 5-year difference. I don't mind 20 and 25, but 15 and 20, you're 2-3 years out of high school.
Yeah, you got a good point there.
She's in the 9th or 10th grade. I mean, think about that, guys. I mean, remember when you're, a couple of years out of high school and you're dating some chick who's in the 9th grade?
I really don't want you to include me in Matt's opinion because I am vehemently opposed to Matty's opinion.
Matty is as well. And we'll be back.
You have 5 seconds. Love.
Yeah.
Fun and informative.
Drew did it, and I did it, and I have no idea when those shows will air, but Drew, you'll find out and tell me, right? Yes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, we're going to take a little 10-second break, and we'll be right back.
This is Loveline on
Radio Station.
KROQ-FM, Pasadena, Los Angeles.
The world-famous K-Rock.
It is Loveline. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Matt George and Matty Liu.
Liu.
I
got it right that time.
Yeah, that was good.
You're getting my name right anyway.
You know what, just call me Matty. It's a lot more simple.
All right, Matty's here. Both professional surfers and actors from In God's Hands. This is a new movie that's out. It's about surfing, and it's the first movie in a while that's been made about surfing that wasn't sort of in documentary form. This
True.
is a regular theatrical release,
Yes.
and
Columbia TriStar and the Los Angeles Times calls it a compelling drama.
And where did you go to have to film this? I mean, tell us about the places you traveled.
Okay, we started on Maui, then we went to Bali, and then we went to Oahu, then we went to California, and even
Mexico.
Mexico, yep, Mexico.
And Canoga Park.
And Canoga Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the most exotic locale, actually.
Garden spot of the country, and probably more dangerous in Canoga Park than it was surfing those 40-foot waves.
Really
in Hawaii.
Dangerous.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
It's not dangerous.
And what about the danger factor? Because guys do get killed doing this big wave riding.
Yeah.
Did you film? Did you have to film that? Did you wait till the end of the movie to film that
Yes.
that scene in case there was problems?
Yes, of course.
Really?
Yeah, but we took a lot of risks too, because we surf throughout the whole film and stuff, and we do our own stunts and stuff, and I mean, at any time anything could have gone wrong with us, and then we would have been screwed.
Did anything go wrong?
Well, a number of
Matt
things.
broke his ribs.
I busted a couple ribs and broke some fingers and stuff, but
how'd you do that?
Dragging from the side of a seaplane, taking a 30-foot dive, boxing somebody that
guy
was
jump on you,
boxing somebody that was quite a bit larger than myself. But I have to say something about the safety record on this. I mean, there were no accidents. We had no problems. Our director, Zalman King, was very, very sensitive towards the danger thing. So we were very much in control. We had lifeguards everywhere. And
Adam, there's someone on line 3 who's seen the film.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Let's talk to them.
Good. We'll talk to... and these are confident guys, by the way. Matt.
Yeah, hi.
You're 14.
Hey, Matt. How you doing, man?
Matt, it's Matt, Matty, Matt, and...
hey, Matt.
Matthew are
Great
all
name.
here.
Yeah, I've been surfing for a couple years, and
Where are you from?
I'm from the San Fernando Valley.
Right on.
Okay, cool. Where do you usually surf at?
I surf at like Will Rogers and Carpinteria by Santa Barbara.
Oh,
okay, cool.
Yeah, I surf around there. And I used to surf in the Hoya Shores when I went down with my uncle.
What'd you think of the movie?
Oh, it was excellent. That was the best. That was better than Endless Summer or any of those movies.
Right on.
Oh, man, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, that's just such a cool movie. I have the poster on my wall that I got out of Surfing Magazine.
How'd it make you feel? What do you think the message of the movie was?
like go for your goals.
Really, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Usually our listeners don't come through real good. They go, the message of the movie. Oh crap! I spilled my bong.
No, but it's true. I mean, this is the one of the first movies about surfing that isn't about winning a trophy. It's not about winning the money.
What is the story?
The story is it's a journey of three friends. A younger character who's sort of raw-nerved and naive to the world. That's the Matty character.
That was me.
The middle character, Shane Doran, is sort of like a James Dean of surfing. He's very, very good at it, but he's very quiet and very confident. He's chasing his own demons. And then I play the older, sort of world-weary, burned-out character. So it's the sort of a complete demographic of male surfing, and they bond. They form this family that a lot of people, I think, in the United States are forming, and these are these families outside their own messed-up families, and it was almost like a gang-type thing. And so they travel around the world seeking this one final rush, and that happens to be these giant waves. And the truth of each of their personalities and their relationship comes out in a sort of an acid test at that moment.
You got any chicks in bathing suits, though?
Well, we actually went in a different direction than that. Well, we did not try to handle the Southern California Baywatch type attitude. This is about the tribe of surfers who travel the world and become very enlightened people by the time they're about 24, 25 years old. And so, yeah, there's very beautiful women in this, but they're not bikini babes.
Okay, but still, there's a few chicks on the beach once in a while, right?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, okay. Just trying to sell some tickets here. Forget about the spiritual journey. I want to see some chick in a thong back. All right, Matt. God bless you. Tell your friends.
Thanks, man.
Is this movie... Now, I know this movie's definitely... it's going to go over big here on the West Coast. And do they release this nationally? Are people in Iowa interested in surfing, or how does it work?
Oh, hell yes.
I think it's going to go to the East Coast, too.
Yeah, I mean, the Endless Summer, actually, the biggest business it did was in the Midwest during the winter, because people back there with the snow and the cold would love to see just this beautiful, tropical, stunning, location.
It's an interesting
fantasy-driven location.
Yeah, it's a very fantasy-driven type story. It's beautiful.
All right, Drew?
Yeah.
Moving on here. Where are we going?
5.
Haley?
Yeah.
You're 15.
Yeah. I'm pregnant, and I'm due in, like, in the next 2 weeks. And the guy who got me pregnant, he doesn't know. And my boyfriend wants me to tell him, but I don't want to tell him because I think it's going to screw up our relationship with him even in it.
Wow.
Wow.
Where are your parents?
And I thought I had it bad.
Huh?
Where are your parents?
At home.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do they know who the father is?
Yeah.
Do they care?
Yeah, because he's a bit older than I am.
Mm-hmm. How old is he?
He's 26.
Aren't they going to take him to task for this?
Taking a task?
Take him to task. It's illegal for him to have sex with you.
Oh, I know that, but, no, they're not.
Haley?
Yeah.
Are you calling from a tuna cannery?
A where? A tuna can?
What's going on back there?
No, that's the dryer.
Oh, okay. Are you inside of the dryer? No. Okay. Could you shut the dryer off, honey?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you. All we want is a little dignity on this show. We never get it. All right, so Haley, let me just make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay.
You're 15.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to be 16?
In November.
Okay, so when you were 14, a guy who was 25 got you pregnant?
Right.
Okay, and he never knew you were pregnant because you just had a one-time encounter with him?
Yeah.
So you just had a one-night stand with the guy, he got you pregnant, and you never saw him again?
Right.
Now, why don't you want to tell him?
Because I think it's going to screw up the relationship that I have with my boyfriend.
How is he going to do that?
I don't want him in my life.
Well, you don't have to have him in your life, but he has a responsibility to help support the child, number one. And number two, I think he ought to be taken to task, as I said. I think he ought to be prosecuted for having had sex with you. I think he's undoubtedly doing this with other young women, and look what kind of carnage he's creating.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, send your men out.
Yes, I'll send the Adam Carolla Genital Collection Squad out to this guy's neighborhood. We take people's genitals who are irresponsible with it. We take the genitalia, we put it in a mason jar, we mark it, sometimes carefully, but there could be confusion. You may end up with a big black penis. It's not your own. Well, that's not such a bad deal.
May I ask? May I ask what made the young lady decide to keep the child?
Because I don't want to have an abortion, and I wouldn't want a stranger raising my child. like to put it up for adoption.
You want to know that you're screwing up your kid, and you don't want to chance anyone else screwing it up?
And if I could point out, I mean, young people or anybody that chooses to put a child up for adoption is making a choice that on behalf of the child. I mean, at 15, you're not ready to be a parent. I'm sorry, Haley, you're not. And so if you really love the child, people will often choose to put the child up for adoption. So parents who are ready to create a stable environment and love the child into adulthood are available and ready, and you do that on behalf of the child. And it's a painful thing to do, but you do it on behalf of the child.
Well, anyway, Haley.
Yeah.
So where did you meet this 25-year-old guy?
I met him through one of my best friends.
And you just had sex with him the first night?
No, it was like I was talking to him for a couple months and everything, and then...
Oh, even more pathetic. I mean, on his part, you know what I mean? And then the guy doesn't use a condom?
No.
I mean, this guy is
Wow.
I mean, he's a criminal.
That's the point.
Yeah, I know, but
He needs to be prosecuted.
And here's a guy, it's guys like this that are going to sort of knock this world off its axis. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because Lord knows how many times he's done this. And then why didn't you ever want to talk to him again?
Because I found out later on, a couple months later, when I found out I was pregnant, that he slept with many girls and has had this has happened, so I just don't want that kind of loser in my life.
Wow. Isn't that just what I said?
That guy's definitely a loser.
Well, why does this young lady feel that she needs to be such a victim? I don't understand that.
That's a good question.
What do you mean, such a victim?
Why not be the one that steps up and puts this guy where he belongs, behind bars?
Right on.
I don't know. I never thought of it.
And where are your folks?
They're at home. I live with my boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Let me ask you a quick question. You have any older brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have an older brother.
How old is he?
21.
How old's your mom?
42.
Okay. Just doing some math there.
Dr. Drew,
Thought mom would be like, 31. Something like
Really?
that.
yeah, I got a question. My boyfriend I live with, he lives with one of his friends, and his girlfriend, has crabs.
Jesus.
And
shave it all off.
I'm calling it an airstrike. I'm going to put this. I got to put an end to this.
Wow.
Between the crabs, the friend. How old is your current boyfriend? 17.
Right.
Oh boy.
But his friend has crabs. His friend's girlfriend has crabs, and she said she got it from her roommate. And her roommate's a little girl. And that's the only way you can get it is through sex.
No, you can get them anyway. And you can get them off a comforter.
Yeah, you can get them off the couch.
You can get it lying in the sand.
Much more likely
down.
if they had sex. So it's suspicious, but not conclusive.
All right, Haley, your new boyfriend doesn't mind you being. You met him after you were pregnant, right?
Right.
And he never had any problem with this.
Nuh-uh.
Wow, what? That's
Adam,
very interesting.
Send the strike force.
Wait, she's 15?
Oh yes.
All that's happened at just 15?
I know. Amazing.
Oh,
All right,
unbelievable.
Haley, listen, how are you going to support the kid?
I don't know. I go to school.
Oh, okay. Well, if you go to school, then that's no problem.
Stuff like this makes me sick.
All right. All right, Haley, can't you give the kid up for adoption?
Yeah, but I don't want to.
I know. You don't want to, but you didn't want to have your tonsils out or your wisdom teeth pulled either, did you? But you had them done because it was the right thing to do, right?
Right.
Right. And I don't pay taxes because I want to, do I?
No.
No. All right, so you do the right thing, right? Give the kid up for adoption,
Do it
please.
for the child.
You know, it's amazing to me. We talk to some people, and they're like, they have a moral problem with abortion and sometimes with adoption. But they don't have any moral problem with having sex with a 25-year-old man in a one-night stand.
Well put.
Very well put.
Very well put.
Or raising the kids in environments which are damaging to them.
Yeah, the kid's gonna...
That's where my moral indignation sets in, is that people being unwilling to be real about who they are and what their life circumstances is.
Yeah, the kid is getting raised in a crab house. I mean, there are crabs in the kid's room, and he hasn't even been born yet. Oh, and you know there's 5 people. You know it's got that bad rust-colored carpet with the bong water stains in it.
Bong water stains.
Got the shelves made out of the cinder block and the knotty pine, 1 by 12.
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, we all were there at some time or another, but we didn't have, thank God, we could barely raise ourselves. I couldn't imagine raising a kid. Oh.
Well, Dr. Drew, could there be like some sort of desire to, due to low self-esteem, to try to, even at that young an age, whether it is have a little baby, a little doll that you might be able to sort of...
Of course. It's to have something that would love them unconditionally. It's an attempt to feel good by having a love object, and also to sort of bring right or make right what was done wrong to them when they were growing up. But of course, it doesn't work like that.
It's really what sports is to a lot of guys. Like, you know those guys that walk around, they got a Milwaukee Brewers sweatshirt on, go Brewers! And they're sitting here, and they're like, they never lived in Milwaukee, and they're watching a TV, and it's some sports bar, and they stand up and scream because 5 games into the season, Milwaukee won a game over the Yankees by one run, and they get totally obsessed on something, and it keeps them away from their miserable reality, which is they're not getting laid, they're getting fat, their prostate's blown up, their hair's falling out, their boss hates their guts, and they're praying that they raise the minimum wage 50 cents so they can get their car out of the impound. But they are into the Brewers
this
in
is
a
exactly
huge way.
Why that everybody should learn how to
surf. I knew
Seriously.
But there's something more real about that than acting out your narcissistic fantasies on another person. These babies, these children-to-be, are separate human beings that are not put there to serve the parents. The needs of the parents are what are being put ahead of everything else, and that's the exact wrong way to make the decision about who should raise the child, or whether to have a child.
Drew, where are your kids now?
With my wife.
Where's your wife?
Back at the hotel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You staying in the same room?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a disaster. Greg.
Yeah.
You're 32.
This Ace the Rock Carrera.
Ace Rock Carrera. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm trying to figure out what my new radio name's going to be, whether it be Ace Rockola or Ace Carrera. But Ace the Rock Carrera is a nice compromise.
I'm just hoping this whole Carrera thing goes the way of the fart on the head.
I am going to fart on some girl's head, too, before the show's
You forget
over.
about these things, and it's nice.
All right, Greg, what do you want?
I got a question for Professor Pinsky there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go forward with getting a vasectomy, and I had a consultation with my physician a few days ago, and he told me that the incision that will be made so that he can get in and cut the vas deferens will not be stitched up after the procedure.
They just tape it?
Actually, he didn't say. I imagine that will probably be it.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the reason for doing that is because there'll probably be some oozing, and it would be better to let it ooze out rather than stitch it up and let it ooze inside.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to know if, is that the right way to go about it? Is that something that's pretty common, or?
Hold on. Engineer Mike has had this procedure done. It was your testicles, right, Mike? Yeah. What
Mike,
happened?
did they sew you?
Did they sew you up?
Yeah, I had stitches on.
Yeah.
They're the kind that just fall off.
Before they sewed Mike's scrotum up, though, he was telling me they filled it with Tootsie Rolls and candy corn and let some 3-year-olds smack on it with a stick.
But, Greg, I'm not familiar.
That's right.
I don't perform vasectomies. I understand what he's telling you. They're a thing called seromas, or any sort of fluid-filled cysts that can develop after a surgical procedure. They're common after mastectomies. They're common. I've seen them after tummy tucks, this sort of thing. So to leave it open makes sense to me. I just don't know if it's the standard of care or not. I don't know why he doesn't put a little drain in, say, too, as well as sew it up.
He did say it heals pretty quickly down there, and that it would.
I would think so. I would think so. Is he a urologist, you're saying?
I don't think so.
It's not a urologist.
No.
I would want a urologist to do the procedure.
You would?
Yeah.
He didn't tell me he was, but maybe he is. I suppose I could ask.
Probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah, general surgeons are certainly capable of many of these procedures, but I would want a urologist myself.
Yeah,
right?
especially I would let a podiatrist work on, let's say, my elbow, and I would let a urologist work on my knee, but I would not let anybody who was not a penis and scrotum specialist work on that area.
Well, I did want you to know that I didn't just pick this guy because he was holding a sign on the corner, advertising, will work for.
You were referred to it.
Tootsie Rolls and whatever.
You were referred to him.
Yeah.
All right.
Why do you want to have a vasectomy? You're only 32.
man, this is no world for kids to be growing up in.
That's what I like.
You've never had any
bitter,
kids.
sterile man.
That's no kids. You know, I like my lifestyle. Not really interested in having kids or raising kids. Or
That's fine. Drew, don't talk the guy out of it.
Well, it
please.
is fine, but it's always the responsible, sensitive people who should be raising kids that decide not to.
Oh, maybe this is the guy who nailed our last caller. You never know.
Yeah.
All right, hey, I got to go. Love your guys' show, and
all right.
Mason jar-sized bung holes out to both you guys, huh?
Thank you.
You're not that guy, though, Greg.
No, he is not. All right, good luck with this act.
Thanks,
Greg. All right. There's a guy calls in about every 6 months, I would say, tries to disguise his voice, and each time he ends his call with, she had a anus the size of a mason jar. That's his tagline.
But he can't disguise his voice. He's not
a real clever guy, yeah.
That voice rings in my head when I hear it.
It's amazing, though. Drew is so amazing. I mean, this happened about 2 weeks ago. This guy literally calls up twice a year. We talk to hundreds, maybe thousands of people a year. And we just take call after call after call every night. And like I said, the guy hadn't called up in 8 months. And he calls up, and he's disguising his voice, and he's going under a different name. And it's like Larry, line 2. He's 22 years old. Larry, you're on Loveline. Hi, Dr. Drew. Drew looks at me immediately. It's that guy. I said, what are you talking about? It doesn't sound like the guy because he's using a different voice. And he said 3 syllables. That's the guy, Drew says, and sure enough, turns out to be the guy. Uncanny, Drew. It's really the only thing it's your only skill. You really have to figure out how to make money off of that. Some sort of circus where you come into town once a year, and then you blow into town the next year, and you identify people just by the sound of their voice.
Yes.
That would be huge. Oh.
Yes. Maybe you could guess their age as well.
No, he couldn't do that, or he couldn't do weight either.
Mm-mm.
Unless he had one of those caliper things. Drew?
Yeah?
Sit tight.
All right.
You got about another half hour to go. You all right?
Right on.
You going to make it? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Matt and Maddie from In God's Hands are here, and we'll be right back.
Loveline.
Matt and Maddie are here from In God's Hands. This is a surf movie. It was released last Friday, which was only a couple of days ago, and should be in theaters near you, and I'm guessing will sort of spread out.
Oh, yeah, nationally. We don't actually call it a surf movie. We think it's a movie that has some surfing in it, actually.
Actually, you're right. It's it would be okay to call it a surf movie if there wasn't a whole bunch of surf movies.
Exactly.
A couple callers out. I want to talk about the movie up there.
All right on. Drew is calling from New York, by the way, where he's there doing some work for some drug company. Right, Drew?
Yeah, and the National Association of Marriage and Family Counselors. We're doing a presentation on depression and intimacy and side effects of depression medication. Really, I am so pleased with this project. I got to tell you, they're letting me stand up in front of a group of people and call it like I see it.
Mm-hmm. Do they need some sort of masturbatory expert over there?
Strangely, this project didn't call for that, and that's why you're there.
Okay, yeah. See if you can get me in on something like that. And
I'm always working your angle.
Hey, speaking of masturbation, actually, Dr. Drew,
yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that teenage pregnancy could be lowered if, in fact, masturbation was, promoted and encouraged at a very young age in schools and in the family home?
An interesting point.
Yeah, it shouldn't be discouraged. I mean, people should be taught to take care of their own needs without acting out and hurting other people, certainly. But I think the job of parent is not so much to promote sexuality as it is to help kids contain it. I think generally as a society for people to be creating environments where young males can talk about it and feel less shameful about it is a good thing.
Yeah, I should get some sort of award for that, Drew.
I have to disagree.
Really.
I have to disagree with you, actually, Doctor.
I don't feel strongly about it, so I can.
I don't believe in containing, trying to get kids to contain anything because if they're uncontainable, what you have to do is give them proper outlets for this energy. And I believe that promoting self-esteem
Yes.
and self-love and masturbation and education about their own bodies.
Yes,
I think that these
I
are
agree.
things we really have to do rather than trying
I don't
to
disagree with you.
wrap them across the knuckles with a ruler.
I don't disagree with you, and I just really would have to think this out and look at whatever research is available about what age to do it and how to do it and what's the best way to do it. I mean, I'm clear you shouldn't be doing it before the age of 12, but maybe around 13, 14, that's not a bad idea.
I tried
don't have a strong
to
opinion.
research masturbation once and then just started whacking off about halfway into it and forgot what I
I
was
watched,
doing.
Adam, I watched our television show last night because it's on a little earlier over here. Or at least my clock's earlier, so I get to stay up. And
Who
I actually
was on
watched
it?
it.
I didn't forget about that. I haven't seen that show in 2 months.
I haven't seen it in about 4 months. I can't remember who was on it. African-American model. What's her name?
Tyra Banks or
Veronica,
something?
Veronica Lake?
Webb. Veronica Webb. Veronica Webb. And there was we were talking about vasectomy. And
we
were talking about how men sometimes have a more intense orgasm the first time after they've had the vasectomy.
Right.
And your point was you thought it was just because the guy had been masturbating for the 2 weeks that he was recovering from the vasectomy.
Oh.
And you made the point that you too would have an amazing, quote, amazing orgasm if you could stop touching yourself for 3 days.
Right. Let alone 3 weeks, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, we're going to speak to Kimberly. Wants to talk a little about the movie. And as far as the sort of masturbatory thing that Matt brought up, which maybe it would take the edge off the teenagers a little and they'd be less likely to copulate. I doubt it because I'm guessing the guys who are engaging in intercourse, even at 14, 15, 16 years old, have already begun the masturbatory journey as well. I don't think there's many guys who haven't masturbated whose first experience with orgasm is with a woman.
I understand that, but I think Matt's making the point that maybe if the hygiene were kept at a higher pace, they wouldn't be as apt to act out.
We'd have to hook them up to some kind of device, though, like they have on the dairy farms. Kimberly.
Good Lord.
You're 13.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Nothing much. I just want to say the movie was really good.
Well, thanks, Kimber. That really means a lot to us.
When did you see it?
Today.
Where are you calling from?
Placentia.
And are you a surf fan? Do you surf yourself?
Well, I've tried it, but I fell like 60 billion times.
What made you go out and see the movie if you're not a surfer? And not that you couldn't enjoy it if you weren't, but I'm curious.
Surfing's cool.
Well, this guy that I like a lot asked me to go.
Yes, that's what
Well,
I
you know what's interesting? So far, the 3 or 4 calls we've had about the show have been 13, 14, 15-year-olds, and it seems like the whole beach scene was we've kind of moved away from it in the last 10 years. Is it coming back again?
Yeah, I think so.
Because maybe the younger adolescents are the ones that are going to bring that movement back in a bigger way.
Yeah.
So what'd you like about the movie? What was your favorite scene?
Just seeing them surf. It's so awesome to see them do that. I thought it was fake at first, but when you guys said it was real, that's just like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the actors were surfing and all the surfers were acting.
No special effects.
The movie made me cry when he died. Oh, that's so sad.
I'm sorry I made you go through that. I really am. But I'm still here. I'm still here, Kim.
That's good.
Hey, let me explain to you a little something about movie radio etiquette, Kimberly. You don't want to give away too many of the... Just hit a couple bullet points, but don't give away the big stuff.
Oh, I always do that. I'm so sorry.
Don't you apologize, Kim. Don't you let him make you feel bad. You did the right thing.
All right, so you're going to go out and see it again?
Yeah, and I just want to say something real fast. Maddie?
Yeah.
I think you're so cute.
Wow.
Yeah, he's kind of foxy.
Thanks.
The guy that I went with got mad at me because I said that, but...
Yeah. That's why, by the way, I'm not taking my girlfriend to see any surf movies. I take her to see movies where fat guys lie around snacking. I don't know what kind of movie that would be, but it's basically a bunch of really good-looking young guys who are built, and their shirts aren't on the entire film.
That's true.
And obviously, I could imagine women watching this movie. It's like Chippendales.
We're all topless.
Yeah, it's a topless movie.
I don't think I wore a shirt once.
And by the way, this is what women like. I mean, you talk about women not... Drew, stop reading over there and listen for a second. Women don't like pornography. This is eroticism for women. Good-looking guys with their shirts off doing something that doesn't involve... I mean, the activity involves them taking their shirt off, but they didn't take it off so some chick could stuff singles down their shorts.
No, not at all. I think that also when you couple the direction of Zalman King, who is known for having the courage to explore sensuality not on a pornographic level, I think that it's a perfect marriage between, sport and sensuality.
Drew?
It's also the romantic story.
No, don't say anything. Just find me the next call, will you, please? I need you to add on to that.
Line 6.
Okay. Nicole.
Hey.
You're 16.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, women like a story when it's told with shirts off.
Oh, yes.
But they don't like pornography, per se.
No.
All right, Nicole, what's going on?
I'm not going to try and be confusing, but I'll do it anyway. I like this guy, and he found out through, like, a really immature way that I liked him. Like, my friends called him up and was like, well, do you like her? And, you know, just, like, really kiddie-type stuff. And I'm really upset. And now he, like, doesn't even want to talk to me anymore because of it.
Because he found out you like him?
Yeah, and then my friend told me that he liked me, too.
Huh.
He found out, he's, like, totally ignoring me at work, and I work with him. I like
Do you think maybe he's sort of anxious and overwhelmed and feels threatened in some way?
I don't know. It's just, like...
Where do you guys work?
I like the local pizza place.
Is he sort of socially inept? I mean, does he have a lot of girlfriends, or is he somebody that's sort of shy?
No, he has, like, a lot of guy friends. Like, he just hangs out with all his little band buddies or whatever.
Don't you think, though, if this guy was interested in her and somebody alerted him to the fact that she was interested in him, that he would sort of jump on that?
How old is he?
He's 17.
I mean, if he were 13 or 14, I could maybe make an excuse that he really didn't have the skill to follow through. But at 17, most guys, if they're into it, will, I mean, the vast majority will be able to
Could he
rally.
do you think he might be sophisticated enough to be playing hard to get?
Nope.
He works at a pizza place.
I was pretty sophisticated when I worked at a pizza place.
Yeah, I think he's being sophisticated and playing hard to get.
You have been?
Well, no, I mean, but if there was a girl that you liked and somebody tipped you off, hey, she likes you.
I'd be kind of nervous, actually.
You might be a little nervous. You might play a little hard to get, but that wouldn't last long. I mean, that'd be the world's worst strategy. You would ask her out, or you would make some sort of overture toward her.
No, the first thing I would do is I would go to my friends and ask for approval at that age, and that's probably something he isn't getting because she's interested in him and not their friends.
That's an interesting point, Nicole.
But when he it was like totally different before I even started liking him. We would just like flirt a lot and everything, and we would hug all the time and act like really good buddies. But
Well, how long ago was he tipped off?
about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, he really should have made his move in that
Why don't
window.
you ask him out? Take him away from that environment and just have a play. Just do something alone with him somewhere. Just spend some time with him.
Well,
ask him out.
My friend said, because he said he called me immature. He said I acted like a middle school kid by having my friends tell him, and I didn't tell him.
I think you should declare a major and either ask him out or completely ignore him.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah, Nicole, and I'm not nuts about this guy the more I hear about him.
Well, he's kind of arrogant.
He sounds like every guy.
All right, so why don't you just listen, Nicole? Find some goofy guy who likes you, would you? Please. You're going to end up with this guy later on in life anyway. Might as well just get used to him now.
Yeah, go.
I don't think there's anything wrong, though, with going up to him and just saying what the hell's going on.
I don't either.
Yeah, but would you do that?
At 17, I wouldn't have the guts.
No, I wouldn't have either. And
ask
we're
him out,
guys.
spend a little time, see if you can kind of close the deal here, find out what's really going on. Who knows what's going on with him? It doesn't sound great. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like a very encouraging situation. I think the only chance is to spend some time alone with him in some kind of an environment where you can get to know him, since he knows that you're into him. Or else forget it.
Ask him out on a date to go see In God's Hands.
There you go.
I heard it works.
That's perfect. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will, let's see, we'll find out if electronically tested condoms really work. Do you know what that is, Drew?
Yep.
Good. We'll find out when we come back. That is my favorite drop.
She has a sexy voice.
Yeah,
It's
especially
even funnier.
when she slurs her name.
Don Diego.
And this is Donna here. She's real sweet, though, and I don't think she's drinking anymore, actually. Last time I spoke to her, anyway. Matt George is here, and Matty Liu.
Liu.
Yes.
Come on.
Hey, I got it, Liu. Now, they're in God's Hands, which is a new movie that was out just a couple of days ago, and it is taking the nation by storm.
Thank you. It is. We feel really good about that.
And the guys were just telling me that they had a TV version of this, or a pilot for a TV version of this that they just finished with Bo Derek, and it was done in Hawaii, and it's an hour long, and all that junk. And
on NBC.
Now, how did
but that one's called Wind on Water.
Right.
Which is the force that creates waves. But the force that creates a fast heartbeat is when you see someone like Bo Derek come out of the water and sit across from you on a surfboard in a wet T-shirt. Now, that was an experience.
Yeah,
and she, let's see, she's got to be near 40, if not
She told me she
early
was 21.
40. Yeah, and I believe it. I believe anything she'd say when she's in that wet T-shirt.
I mean, when she was in 10, she must have been 20, 21, something like that.
She was 19.
Oh, was she 19
She
in
was
10?
19. That's what she told us.
No, I think she was like
but
17.
She may just be doing the math now. What I mean is 10 years ago, she may have been 13 when she was in 10.
Well, she's a charming woman, and she looks remarkul, regardless of age.
She's beautiful.
Oh,
very nice lady, too.
John Derek knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Drew? You there?
Mm-hmm.
Good man. You getting tired, Drew? Mm-hmm. Wait, where are you broadcasting from, Drew?
Same studio you and I were in out here. It's Westwood One Studios in New York near Times Square.
Right. Yeah, vaguely. Is that where we had the belligerent limo driver?
Yes.
It was great. There was a guy. New York's great because Drew and I travel around a lot, and when you go to Iowa or Chicago or something like that, you got these great guys who drive the limos. They're the same guy. They're in their late 50s, early 60s. They know every square foot of the terrain, and they love to talk about it.
That's how my grandpa was.
He was a limo driver?
No, he grew up in the East Coast, and he knows everything about anything.
Now the guys in New York are kind of pissed off and don't want to be bothered. It's a little bit different. So anyway, we had to get to Westwood One to do our broadcast, and we only had about 15 minutes, and there was supposed to be a limo waiting for us, and we ran out in front of the hotel, and we were really in a rush, and it was late at night, and I saw a town car down the street about half a block, and there was a guy sleeping in it. And I went and tapped on the window because there was no other town car around, and we had to get to this Westwood One to begin the show, and it was starting live in about 20 minutes. And I said, it's like on the window, yeah? Hey, you here to pick up two guys and take them to Westwood One? No, get out of here. Okay. Ran back to Drew and stood in front of the hotel for another 5 minutes. Then I started to get panicky, and I said, it's got to be that guy back there. And I ran back to the car again. Hey, you're not supposed to pick up Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew to take them? No. Get lost. So I stood back again, and then about 5 minutes later, he goes, hey, are you Adam and Drew? Yeah. All right, get in. He wasn't finished with his nap, apparently. Drew?
I was like, no, I'm looking for Adam and Drew, not you.
Yeah.
You literally said, he goes, no, not you. I'm looking for guys named Adam and Drew. Get out of here.
You got a call there, Drew?
Yeah, let's go to line, hang on a second, 6.
Oh, okay, Drew.
Oh, wait, no, you were going to talk about the electronically tested condoms on line 2.
Oh, that's right. There you go.
6.
Nate.
Yeah, what's up?
What is electronically tested condoms?
Okay, well, I got a question about that, and I got a question about orgasms after that. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make them quick.
My question about condoms is I have this condom that says electronically testing. I was wondering if that's supposed to reduce the risk even more than regularly.
I think most of them say things like that on there.
Yeah.
And, I think they are tested.
Don't you think it'd be dangerous, though? I mean, after the robot wears it for a while and then they put it back into the package, doesn't that seem like it would compromise it, Drew?
I don't know of any robotic HIV transmission, so I think you're okay.
I'm just saying, wouldn't it weaken it when the robot humps its robotic partner?
Yeah, I'm not so sure they actually use it in robotic sex. They just inflate them, basically.
So,
Nate,
right.
You know, the condoms are get the Consumer Reports on them. They actually do a nice job of telling you what are the safest for the best price and the least
apt to break.
Aren't they tested with light, Dr. Drew, with light shown?
I don't know how they test them. Honestly, I don't know.
I read an article.
I've heard that they test them with lasers, actually.
Yeah,
lasers
there's all kinds of controversies about whether they're tested. Are they tested? Are they satisfactorily tested? But for the most part, like the Ramses and the Trojans and the ones that are standardly available are fairly effective. If they're used properly and they're not kept in your glove compartment for 3 weeks in the hot summer sun, just use them properly. That's the main issue.
Nate?
Yeah?
What's your other question?
Actually, it's 2. How do I know if my girlfriend, the first one is, how do I know if my girlfriend's having an orgasm?
Her toes will curl?
No, she could be faking, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
But you can't fake the toe curl. Most women don't do that kind of detail work.
Oh, Lord.
Does she say she has an orgasm?
I haven't really asked, but, it's kind of like,
Why don't you ask her? I mean, if you're close enough to her to be physically intimate in that way, you should be able to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, my other question is, when she's giving me a handjob or a blowjob, I won't come.
That's nice.
That could be technique.
Chivalry is not dead, by the way.
Well, it could be a technique problem,
Psychological thing or something.
All right. Well,
are you able to give yourself handjobs?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely, Matt. Here's what I say, and a lot of women don't understand this. A guy gets pretty used to his own technique. I mean, there's a certain thing that a guy's been doing for many years, and when a woman's hand gets down there, even though they're thrilled there's a woman's hand down there, the penis is a little confused because it's a totally different grip. It's a totally different technique, and sometimes it won't cooperate just because it feels so foreign.
I'm with you.
It's like trying to stuff a VHS tape into a beta player. They're both tapes, and they may have good movies on them, but it just doesn't quite work. All right, Drew?
And even men have certain images of what they're looking for in their intimacies. And if it's not that, they may need another level of closeness, which includes the intercourse sometimes. Anyway.
Yeah, but it is just sensation. If they could recreate what the guy has been recreating for the last 4 years in his bathroom, there would be no difficulty at all.
Now, when it comes to the blowjob thing, I think that might be a guilt thing. What do you think, Dr. Drew?
It is in some cases, and you just have to sort of, I think it goes from individual to individual. But again, it also is a sensation thing sometimes, too. Guys get very used to one thing.
We're talking about what creates preference in people's physical encounters. That's a pretty complex thing. I mean, without talking at length to one person, you can't really sort out why they have the preferences they have, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, people have preferences, and that's fine.
Don? Or Dom, I should say?
No.
I want to talk to Dom. Relax.
Talk to Nikki.
Just relax. Dom?
Hello?
You're 14.
Yeah.
What's your question?
I had a question for Matt.
Matt or Matty?
Matt.
I'm right here, man.
Hey, was it you who paddled into Jaws?
Yes, it was.
Whoa. How did it feel like?
Well, I'll tell you. Have you ever stood on top of a hill that's covered with snow with a big sled underneath your feet and then pushed off?
No, I live in southern Orange County.
Well, what I just described is exactly what it would be like. It was really quite something.
Jaws is on the North Shore?
Maui.
Oh, okay.
And when you fell, did you fall into the lip and go over?
Yes, I did. I took a dreadful wipeout, but it was there was a lot of lifeguards there, and I would advise you not to do this at home, young man.
How
deep was the water?
Well, actually, you should talk to our surfing big wave expert. I'm not a big wave expert. Matty is. You might want to ask him that question.
It all depends, like how long you're gonna get held down. It depends on the, how big the wave is, and if you come up after it, if you get held down for the next wave behind it. So, I mean, 20 seconds probably would be pretty long.
Yeah,
you probably don't want to be longer than 15 seconds.
All right, Dom, that's enough questions. I got to fire through a few more. Did you see the movie?
Yeah, it was great.
Did you love it?
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Go see it again.
All right.
All right, here's what I want everyone to do. All you surfers, why this movie's going to make a ton of money, and don't take this the wrong way, but the surfers, they like the herb, a lot of the guys. A lot of these guys are going to see the movie Stone the first time, then a week later they're going to forget they saw it, and they're going to go out and see it
They're
again.
going to go back and see it again.
You're going to get a lot of repeat dollars on this.
I take real personal offense to that, actually.
No, but let's face it. A lot of guys like the weed. A lot of guys who surf like the weed. And a lot of guys like to smoke a little hooch before they go in and see a movie.
You know what's crazy?
And you can go enjoy. I've done this before.
No, but when I grew up, honestly, growing up in a beach community, I never really saw that much marijuana. And then when I moved to California, and now I live in the city, I see more of it in the city than I do.
Oh, much more than you see at the beach.
Yeah, and I always thought, wow.
I think that's a typical stereotype that has been, perpetuated through
by guys that smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah,
by guys that smoke a lot of weed,
especially in New York.
And
New
surf.
York, weed is so big in New York.
the idea of the surfer is as strong a male archetype as the American cowboy. And I look at us as just sort of the cowboys of the millennium.
Play, Engineer Mike, play Don Ho's drop, if you
I
would.
love Don Ho.
We had Don Ho in here, and I said, Don, do you smoke, you got a lot of herb growing on all those acres you own in Hawaii? And he went, maybe. He was like, maybe.
Don Ho.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go see his show. His show's excellent.
So who else can we help anybody here?
All right, let's see if we can just power through
We're out of time,
a few
though.
calls. Drew,
We're out of time?
pipe down over there. Let me
Do
see.
number 6, all right?
Number 6.
Mahalo.
Nikki,
Hi.
you're 23.
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to say that your little stereotype about how, like, real surfers don't have, like, can't hold on to any other jobs is, like, completely not true. I'm a third-year UCLA law student, and I'm also an exotic dancer, and I am...
And you know a lot of surfers,
you
obviously.
You sound really sexy. God.
And do you surf?
Yes, religiously.
Okay.
I
See,
agree
she's
with
holding
you
the
100%.
job down at the titty bar.
Surfers are amazing human beings.
Yes, they are.
And we do it all.
Nikki?
Yes?
You got about 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Just keep talking because you sound so incredibly sexy. I just want to keep hearing your voice.
First of all, I want to say, Maddie, you're incredibly hot.
Ah,
Saw your movie.
thanks.
You are, like, so gorgeous. And,
It really makes me feel good.
I was wondering, I was diagnosed last week with scabies, and I was wondering if it's possible to get into your genital area.
It's possible. It's usually around the belt line, wrists, ankles, that sort of thing.
Maddie just lost his wood, by the way. But go ahead, Drew. Polish that thing off.
But the treatment they're going the treatment they're going to give you would they basically give you a soap and a shampoo, and that will eradicate it wherever it is.
Right. Is it on a rope? Because I think it'll get lost up there. Okay, Drew.
Whatever it is, just keep surfing.
What are scabies, Drew?
Lice.
Skin parasite.
Beautiful.
Yeah, parasite.
All right. And are they much different than crabs?
A little different, not much. They get under the skin. They burrow.
Oh, beautiful. All right, we'll be back.
I feel so...
Yes, you is. All right, we're out of time. In God's Hands is the name of the movie. Go out and see it stoned, and then see it again because you forgot you saw it the first time. Let's make
Adam,
some
I'll see you
money.
tomorrow night, all right?
All right, Drew, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Kiss the nanny for me. Yes. Maddie, thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure to be on this show. We really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Continued success, and when the series comes out, we'll keep our fingers crossed, and then you guys can come back and plug that.
God bless you.
All right. Until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying mahalo.
This has been Loveline. The opinions expressed herein are not necessarily those of the staff or management or producers or directors or the advertising or anyone. They might be Bob's. I'm Bob, and they're mine. The producer of Loveline is Ann Wilkins. Loveline is a presentation of Westwood One Entertainment. Grr. Arg. We now return you to your highly tested, regularly scheduled programming. Bye.